Kent.
Joel, is that you?
Yeah. I can't believe we found our way back to the recording equipment.
But we're still half buried.
Yeah, but we could reach some microphones.
I think that's all that matters.
Have you seen Jake?
No.
We'll have to find him.
Jake!
No.
Jake!
We'll have to find him after we talk about Aquaman.
Oh, okay.
I feel like it's our duty, even though we're buried in rubble.
Hold on. Let me check and see if we have any Wi-Fi. 2 bars.
Oh,
we have 2 bars.
We're 2 bars.
We only have like 3% left, but 2 bars.
I don't know how long we've been in here. I don't even know if this is the right time for this to be released.
It's probably a Friday, and so it's probably BaconBit Day.
Probably. I don't know. There's no sense of time in here.
Well, I feel like
even though our phones are working, we have 2 bars.
I feel like the air's clearing up, that we can maybe speak normally.
Probably so. I think so.
Except for don't speak too loud because there could be another cave-in.
Got to be careful about that.
Yes. But
so
here we are.
We're going to talk about Aquaman.
Yes, we owe it to you, the listener, to talk about this movie that we've talked about since the beginning of 2018. It was on our most anticipated sort of list.
It was, and also it was part of our trailer spoiler experiment.
Ooh, yes, we talked about that in our season finale.
We did, and just to recap, I was getting after Kent for always watching all the trailers because they released like 6 trailers before a movie.
Yes.
And then they do
TV spots.
It's weird to sit on this side of you, by the way.
I know. Yeah, this is totally. Well, we're laying down.
That's
clearly.
Right, yeah. And I said, okay, you limit yourself to 1 trailer for both Infinity War and for Aquaman.
Primarily, you did it for Infinity War just because you didn't want my experience to be ruined or have me look up spoilers, which I generally do.
But you already knew a lot about that movie.
Yes.
So then I wanted to cast even farther out,
which I wasn't pleased with.
Yes, you weren't, but you took the challenge, and so you only watched 1 trailer for Aquaman.
And I'm so mad at you.
You didn't read any of the spoilers. You didn't see any of the behind-the-scenes photos.
I avoided Twitter.
Yeah, because like even then they were posting out the Rotten Tomatoes score, and you didn't know about that.
Yeah, and I mean, look, I saw the social media like short reviews like the first day, and I'm like, oh crap, that's today. And so I saw some positive stuff. I saw negative stuff, but I'm like, I can't be seeing this right now, especially full reviews.
Right.
And so here we are. Finally, I can do anything I want. In fact, but like I said, I don't think I'm really going to watch more than maybe 2 trailers, but I'm going to try to keep it to 1.
That's usually what I do. Is I look at a trailer, like a trailer 1 will come out, and if I hear a lot of buzz about it, I'm like, I'll watch it.
Right.
If not, I'll wait for trailer 2. But sometimes trailer 1 is better because it doesn't give as much away.
Yeah. Did you only watch 1 trailer for this movie?
Yes.
And it was the underwhelming trailer we saw months and months ago.
Yeah.
Back in like June.
I think so.
June or July. Oh, it's July because it was Comic-Con.
Well, because there's the teaser trailer, which is a complete waste of time.
Right.
There's trailer 1, which gives you more flavor of the movie.
Yes.
There's trailer 2, which gives you more
story
spoilers.
points. Yes.
And then the final trailer is like kind of everything combined.
Yeah, it comes out in 2 weeks, and here's everything you need to see.
Yeah, but it gives it so much away.
Right.
So I wanted to ask you, Kent, do you think, and I don't know your perception of the movie, I don't know what you feel about it. We haven't talked about our feelings about the movie, but I want to know if you think that this experiment altered your perception of Aquaman.
Oh, that's the thing. I think it's the problem with asking you because you've only seen the same trailer I had. Because I want to ask someone that's maybe seen every trailer because what?
We can't ask anyone. We're
I know,
here
right now. I hope we survive. But if this is the last thing we ever say, if it's the last thing we ever talk about, it's
let us
Aquaman.
know on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter what
Jason
you thought of
Momoa
Aquaman.
and his 8-pack.
Yes.
But here's the thing. Like, I want to talk to someone that's seen the trailers because all I saw was Atlantis and the little spaceship, basically. Or the fish boat,
flying into
whatever
Wakanda.
it was.
Yes.
And I was kind of like, oh, that's Atlantis. Oh, that's colorful and CG and everything. But I don't know if I would have seen more of that because seeing it in the movie was a pretty cool experience.
Well, and we saw it in IMAX as well, which is
Sure.
plenty of eye candy there to look
And
at.
so I don't know if the trailers, because I know there was a 5-minute featurette, if it ruined elements of the movie that I'm glad I saw for the first time on an IMAX screen. So in that way, I will say I am grateful. Because, like, here's the thing. Avengers...
Are you bearing your testimony right now?
I am grateful. Like, I promised myself I wouldn't do this. But I felt prompted to come up here.
Yeah.
Avengers, I almost felt like seeing 1 trailer was... I saw what I needed to see. I kind of saw, like, the space planet where the big battle would take place. And I saw that I knew all the Avengers would come together. This one felt different because there's so much happening in this movie, which we'll talk about. And I'm wondering if that would have been ruined.
What is the runtime of this movie?
It's 2 hours, I think 21 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
But maybe longer. Honestly, that's kind of par for the course for any movie this year, which is crazy.
And our episodes too.
Yeah. Next season, if we survive.
If we survive.
Yeah. So, but, I mean, what about you? Like, do you feel like this is just I guess this was normal for you to watch one trailer and go
fairly
in.
normal. Like I usually try to avoid stuff, and I'd see things pop up, and I was like, I don't really want to know about that.
Right.
And it's I saw the headline. It's doing good in China, and I'm like,
Okay.
yeah, it's fine. But
It's a really
experience.
unpredictable market over there.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
like I said, Crazy Rich Asians.
They hated that.
They hated that. They don't even allow some movies. Like they didn't allow, I think, Doctor Strange and Suicide Squad because they were too mystical.
Oh.
But yeah, this movie's doing really well. Infinity War did really well over there as well. So yeah, it's kind of unpredictable. You asked me a lot of questions before the movie started because we were kind of walking in lackadaisy.
Yeah.
And you're like, you're not stressed. I've been for DC movies
No,
before.
when we went to go see Batman v Superman, you were
a basket case.
You were head in hands. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. This one, you were like walking around being like, hey, buddy. Hey, fellow critic. Let me get say hi.
Isn't it
Hey,
crazy
Joe.
we give Spider-Man the best picture of the year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not us. Not
Yes.
Baconsale. That was the Utah Film Critics
Indeed.
Association. So, yeah, but you seem so at ease that I went, this is one of your favorite superheroes.
Yes. I
in a
defend
DC
Aquaman to the
movie.
death.
Yeah, and this is a DC movie.
Sure.
No stakes.
But here's the thing. So my love of DC and all things superhero movies has kind of died. The fact that Warner Brothers...
Oh, that's sad.
It kind of is, but the fact that Warner Brothers stepped in and got rid of Zack Snyder, and we didn't get to see a director's vision that we should have seen, honestly, and that's another show.
Snyder Cut forever.
It's hashtag release the Snyder Cut. That is the official hashtag. But
a long hashtag.
I've been upset that they haven't given directors like David Ayer from Suicide Squad or Zack Snyder, Patty Jenkins they've been okay with, but they haven't let directors actually fulfill the visions they have. And so this one, I honestly sat down and I said, I'm just happy Aquaman's getting a freaking movie.
True.
Because who would have thunk the Aquaman, the joke of any superhero universe other than arm fall off boy, would actually get a cinematic feature.
But here's my other question, is that since you are a big Aquaman fan,
Yes.
this is a very different approach to the Aquaman character. I mean, obviously we saw it in Justice League, of course,
Right.
already, but Jason Momoa as Aquaman is kind of this more kind of tribal Aquaman.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
Well, they didn't focus too much on the tribal element other than the fact that it's
surfer
swagger.
tribal kind of thing, yeah.
Because I am a fan of Aquaman from the New 52, which, this is for comic geeks only, but it's the kind of Aquaman where he'll be eating at a diner and people will be like, dude, you're Aquaman. You're eating a fish fillet. And he's like, yeah, it's okay to eat a fish fillet. And they're like, but you talk to fish. He's like, yeah, who cares?
He's like, I don't talk to fish.
And so that's the thing. There are comedic elements to this ridiculously silly character. And so I'm okay with the swagger that comes with Jason Momoa in this part.
I'm sure you are.
Yes. Wait, what does that mean?
Nothing. So let's get into the review of it then.
Yes, and we
Ken.
will have spoilers probably for the second half of this. We've talked about it already without talking about the movie.
But it's going to be spoiler free for the first little bit here. So
Yes.
even if you haven't seen the movie, you can listen to this first part. It's weird too because we don't have Jake here to tell us who's going to go first.
I hope he's alive.
I hope he is too, somewhere
Yes.
in the rubble.
Yeah, so Joel, do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first? You always want me to go
No,
first.
I'll
on
go
these
first
ones.
on this one because Aquaman is kind of your baby.
Yeah.
Aqua
Baby.
Aqua Baby. I was going to say something, but it's not a joking matter. We're in Rebel.
Okay,
So
sure.
Yeah. I feel... I'll say this. I feel like DC has gone full Marvel.
Oh.
And that's a derogatory...
Oh, man, that honestly chills my blood, but I agree to a point.
That's derogatory for you, not so much for me,
Okay.
because I find value in Marvel's movies. However, it feels with Batman and with Superman and even with Wonder Woman, they kind of went darker with a few comedic elements.
Right. This
is bright. This is colorful. This is comedic almost every step of the way. And the drama that comes in is almost a side. It's like the side dish to the main dish, which is comedy.
No, so tell me this from a Marvel, not fan, but a Marvel.
I'm a Marvel fan.
Okay, a Marvel fan's point of view. Is that a really good thing? Because you're seeing a story that everyone can watch and everyone can be pleased by, and then the drama is secondhand.
I feel like it's okay with Aquaman.
Sure.
Batman needs to be dark.
Sure.
Aquaman, lighter character, lighter movie. I'm okay with that. However, I do feel like this movie had a couple things that kind of just didn't sit right with me, I'll say.
Okay.
So what they got right, first of all, like I said, colorful, beautiful to look at, but this had a very similar plot to Black Panther.
Oh, I totally disagree.
I felt like as I was watching, I'm like, oh my gosh, they're going full Black Panther here. So full Marvel, full Black Panther. I mean, Black Panther came out about a year ago, and they probably thought people forgot about it.
Well, they made this movie about the same time. So.
But they related a whole year to release it?
It came out. Well, the story existed before Black Panther. Anyway.
But I just felt like there were a lot of things that kind of didn't go well. The rules were not entirely clear about what an Atlantean could do and couldn't do. So therefore, it became unclear to me whether...
Oh, because they're super powered.
They're superpowered, but only some of them have superpowers, but some of them don't have superpowers, and they're impenetrable to some things, but not other things.
Real quick, no spoilers, but this is DC, and DC relies on godlike people, right? These are the new gods. And so just like Wonder Woman is kind of impenetrable, so is Aquaman. So is Superman.
Right.
Because they're basically gods on Earth.
We'll get into it.
Okay.
There's a couple of things that I'm like, you set that up as this way, and then this way happens.
Sure.
I also felt the music was really out of place. Like,
I'm wondering which parts. Is it the pop music or is it the actual score?
Like, so for example, they had this guitar riff whenever Aquaman would kind of smug for the camera.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
That was almost the Wonder Woman theme?
Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
But that they did that a couple times, and I was like, it was like 3 times in a row, and I'm like, whoa, calm down. And then they throw in like 10-second clips of a pop song to do a transition, and then a montage with a pop song that I was like, they're playing Depeche Mode.
Yeah.
Why are they playing Depeche Mode? It felt out of place.
Sure.
I felt like they were trying to be just crazy and entertaining. But overall, I was like, okay. I'm conflicted.
You seem like you don't want to say nice things right now.
No, I'm conflicted because here's the thing. I said that a dozen times, but it's the smoke.
Guess what?
What?
Guess what?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I say all the time.
No, I thought this movie was enjoyable.
Yeah.
However, I kept looking at my watch, so to speak. I wasn't actually looking at my watch because then they kicked me out of the theater, but I kept being like, wow, it's still going. Man, is this going to end?
Right.
And it wasn't like I was hungry. It wasn't like I need to go to the bathroom. It wasn't like I was tired. I was just kind of like, okay, this is kind of dragging on for a bit.
Well, you kind of felt that there were 3 distinct acts that were very, very different from each other.
Yes.
There's the origin, and it's a little bit darker because it's about Aquaman's mother. And basically, the story of this is...
Oh, we didn't even say that. Yes. Yeah.
Arthur Curry was born of a human man, or a surface dweller, as they call him.
Yes.
And a queen from Atlantis.
Yes.
And so... he is born and raised to live on the surface, but must go down to Atlantis to save the day from his half brother.
Yes,
that's it.
And that's the story.
But like there's a second act, and so first act is like where he comes from, why he's there. A little bit darker. Second act is an adventure. Third act is war.
Yeah.
And so they're very distinct from each other. But like, were you feeling like? Were you like, hey, the third act hasn't even come yet?
Yeah, like honestly, when I started, there was a scene when I kind of went, wow, this could be the ending, but it's not going to be.
Okay.
And it kind of made me laugh that there was still a lot more movie to go.
Right.
So, but then again, I was enjoying parts of it. Like as corny as some of the lines were, as corny as some of the acting was, I felt kind of like, okay, this is entertaining. This is fun enough. And that's what I want to say is that this was fun enough. This is not going to be
enough.
Yeah. This is not going to be one that I own.
Sure.
This is maybe not even one I may watch again. Mm-hmm. But I'm fine with it.
Oh, you want to watch this again with the kids?
No, well, maybe with the kids.
I would totally watch this with kids.
No, I probably would show this one to my kids
because there's like scary elements, and at the same time, there's like incredible visuals.
There's a 5-year-old kid watching it next to me the whole time during the screening.
I noticed that. Jeez.
But I probably would watch this one with kids. I probably would show it to my kids because you pull a couple little, because they swear a little bit and there's a little violence. But other than that, you could watch this one with your kids pretty easily. So
this would be a movie I'd love as a kid.
That's what I wonder.
Because we loved adventure stories in the 80s, right?
We did.
Like dumb stuff like Romancing the Stone. Which this was trying to be.
I kind of like Romancing the Stone.
It's good back in the day. In retrospect, it's great.
I want to watch it again.
Yes.
But this movie, I give it a passing grade. I'm going to give this 3 stars out of 5 because it was fine. I liked it.
Sure.
I don't know if I'll watch it again. Probably with the kids when Clearplay asked me to review it.
Sure.
But there's my review.
Okay. So mine is actually quite similar to yours.
Dang it. Where's Jacob?
Yeah, Jake's like, I hated it.
Yeah.
Or maybe he would have liked it. I don't know. Here's my thing that I've said about Marvel recently, and this is maybe a recent revelation I've had, is the people behind Marvel, and probably Kevin Feige, says, we have so much money.
We have a Hulk.
Yeah, we have a Hulk maybe, but he doesn't Hulk out anymore. He says in the writer's room, make any movie you want, but here's the thing. Wouldn't it be cool if ... and then they make the weirdest, crazy crap there is.
Okay.
And they put everything on screen that is wish fulfillment for fans.
Yeah.
And that is what they excel at.
In Marvel.
A director did that for DC now. Because James Wan,
who he directed Insidious,
Furious 7, Saw, Conjuring.
Like he mostly did horror movies,
yes,
but he's been branching out recently.
Yes, and because he's shown that he can handle blockbusters as well as indie flicks. But here's the thing: I think was given carte blanche to say, wouldn't it be cool if we show? And I can't even get into spoilers right now, but we will talk about this. We show this from the deep, or we show everything that Aquaman could be, or we show him just, smolder for the camera at times. We show him walking through steam and be this hero that we always want him to be.
Right at the beginning.
Yeah, and I was kind of like, man, they're really staying in their lane. Like, this is silly fun.
Silly fun.
And then it goes on an adventure.
Glub, punch.
Yes. But the more the movie went on, the more I liked it, because I was like, I can totally, and for me, it wasn't really Marvel humor, because it...
No, this is so funny to me that you're defending this movie.
No, and I'm saying sometimes it didn't even land as well as Marvel humor.
Right.
Because it wasn't one-liners. It was like a grunt from
You're saying they're
Jason
kind of
Momoa.
a fish out of water? Is that what you're saying? Oh.
Because I will say Justice League is like the biggest, the guiltiest party of trying to be Marvelized. This one was like, we're going to try to do something you've never seen before and have a lot of jokes. And some of the jokes, I don't know if you heard me, but I was scoffing and like, why did they put that in there?
I heard you.
And yeah, see, I mean, you really can't miss that.
But I got to disagree with you a little bit there, because I feel like Justice League was kind of this bridge movie where it was like, we're taking our darker movies and we're adding some light.
Well, that was Joss Whedon coming in and ruining the entire thing.
But then this one is full light, full Marvel, full lighthearted, I should say.
I don't know, because there were still characters that took it seriously. Everyone in this, the only like jokey person here was maybe a little Willem Dafoe, but definitely Jason Momoa. But even like Mira, played by Amber Heard, was a really, really serious character.
But her humor was that whole...
It was.
I was going to say fish out of water.
Yeah,
again.
but it wasn't like a joke every second.
No, but at the same time, she was the foil to Jason Momoa's bravado.
But her cleverness is like, you think best when you're not thinking at all. It's not like, here's a funny joke after 12 million people died.
That's exactly a joke Black Widow would say to Tony Stark. That's exactly a joke that Tony.
If so, then gross. Then they've done a bad thing.
I just think you're actually being more forgiving of this one because it has the DC label.
Well, it's Aquaman, right? I mean, I am quite happy to see this. And honestly, they have a villain, which I'm kind of okay with. Orm, the Ocean Master, as silly as that is, I thought it was okay. Here's why I like this movie. Unlike, I don't think it was like Black Panther at all. From the trailers, I thought it would be.
We'll get into why it is.
Okay, but I actually enjoyed seeing this underwater world where it was all just so new, and I saw different creatures and a landscape and battles that I would have never seen in any other movie.
Wakanda forever.
And I do believe that the third act may have been the best part of the movie.
Okay.
Unlike a lot of DC movies by a lot of people's standards. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give this movie a B.
What?
Yeah.
That's a high grade.
Yeah.
You are totally being forgiving of this movie because you like Marvel or because you like DC.
This is a Marvel movie. So
it's a Marvel movie, but since it has a DC label on it, you're like, I'm okay with this.
But here's the thing.
You swap out Aquaman with Thor, you would have hated this movie.
No, not at all, because Thor doesn't know what he is. In that last movie, that was a comedy. This is not a comedy. Jason Momoa was fun. It was not even a comedy.
Mark my words, it'll have comedy on IMDb.
It was an adventure film with comedic elements. So it wasn't really dramatic
Thor
at all.
Is.
No. Thor is a straight up comedy at this point.
This is essentially Thor: The Dark World.
Oh,
I'm kidding. It's Thor 1.
No, but here's the thing. You think I would give an Aquaman movie higher, but it's probably a B at this point. And it's kind of like a B, maybe lowercase, but still.
I think Thor 1 might be a good comparison because Thor 3 was too humorous.
I would say this is closer to Thor 1 than it is the Black Panther, to be honest with you. Yes. As far as like beat for beat.
What'd you give Thor?
I think I gave it a B minus.
So this is the same realm then?
This is the same realm, yes.
Asgard.
Yeah, same realm. Except there's no weird robot monster at the end. But here's the thing. I think they threw everything at the screen, and that is why I appreciate it. As dumb as this movie was at times, they really didn't care, and they said, we're going to just make this movie that doesn't seem to exist in the same world as Batman.
You want to... Oh, yeah, because they never once referenced Superman, Batman, or Wonder Woman. No, but that's not cool, because once you...
my gosh, you all the time say connected universes are the worst thing for these movies.
I'm saying that's once you have opened that door...
Yes.
The whole movie, you're like, well, where are the others?
No, but it's underwater. Like, this is Aquaman's realm.
He was above water for part of it.
for part of it, but still.
Where was Superman during that part?
Thank you, DC, for not letting anyone else in this movie. Honestly, that it's its
I would have
own
appreciated
standalone
just a
movie.
passing reference.
Here's a question: would you have rather seen this movie before a Justice League was made?
Yes.
Me too.
Yeah, I think
because then you would have cared about Aquaman by the time it got there.
Well, we're going with the Marvel mentality here of like the standalone movies and then the combined movie. They were trying to go the opposite.
Yes.
Now, Ken, I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
Guess what this got on Rotten Tomatoes currently? What it currently holds. Last time I checked, before the cave-in,
57%
57% Rotten Tomatoes.
57%.
You were wrong.
Okay.
Higher.
Lower?
Higher.
Oh, really?
Yeah, keep going.
It's because it's Marvelized, right?
Yeah, Marvelized DC.
63.
Higher.
75.
Lower.
Oh, lower than 75. 70.
70%.
70%.
70% with 123 reviews from critics.
Wow.
This is a high-rated DC movie.
Yeah.
Like when you think about all the other
I
ones.
wonder what the reviews say, because it is that kind of silly, maybe fun they wanted from this. And honestly, because it's Aquaman, it deserves to be that kind of movie.
It does. I don't think it should have been
so
dark.
I don't think my B is like too generous at all, because it is Aquaman.
Well, and I give it 3 stars only because it's completely predictable. It's completely the story we've seen before. You know exactly what's going to happen, but it's fun to see it happen.
Look, we knew it would happen in the end, but how to get there, I had no idea.
Oh, come on.
Dude, there are some elements in the spoiler territory. Let's move on.
Let's get into the spoiler territory. All right, we're going to get...
Spoilers, yummy, yummy spoilers.
Fish head song? I was just going to go...
them up, yum. Perfect.
Glub, 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 punch, punch.
Now, don't listen. Hopefully this isn't a couple weeks late, this Bacon Bit.
I don't know how long we blacked out for.
But we're going to talk about spoilers for a few minutes at least.
Yes.
As long as we have left on this battery.
Yes. So here's the deal, is that this movie, when I say it's Black Panther, what I'm referring to is the fact that it's this kingdom where there's a question about who's going to reign the throne, who has the rightful throne. They have a battle by combat in which the hero loses and then is able to get trained and find his true self and then come back stronger than ever once again to compete in combat and this time win. Like, honestly, when they said trial by combat to see who rules the kingdom and the people must see this, I was like, that's straight up Wakanda right there. That's straight up Wakanda.
Yeah. Also from the Aquaman comics, just letting you know, from like 70 years ago.
Well, and that, I mean, it's part of folklore too. It's like that whole thing. But
I mean, it's brother v brother story. It's very Shakespearean. But as they were done underwater,
but as they were flying in their worthless ships,
yes.
Because honestly, if you can swim that fast, why do you need a ship?
Oh, I actually knew you'd bring this up, and I was like, we have cars. Why don't we just? Because they don't swim as fast as they go.
Oh, yes, they do.
They do not.
He was shooting through the water like a bullet, and then they get in the ship, and it's like this little peaceful glide as they glide into Wakanda and start showing all the things in Wakanda.
And let's be honest, Wakanda's not that cool.
Wakanda, no, that was a cool reveal going into the mountain and seeing the village.
But then that was it. That was it. Wakanda has cool tech, but it's
they
not
have
actually
vibranium
that cool.
slushies and stuff. But no, but with Atlantis,
yes,
it's fine.
Atlantis. By the way, you're saying this is a copycat. Atlantis is the original Forgotten City.
No,
right? It's the mythical city.
I'm saying it's the presentation of which was basically a Windows screensaver.
Oh, okay.
Because it was cool to look at, but so busy and so far away, you couldn't really see what was going on.
Like when they first get into the city.
Yeah, exactly.
About? I totally agree with that.
And so I was like, it's fun, but it's almost overkill. Like you're like, look how cool we can make this look, and it's like, yes, that's great. My Windows screensaver does the same thing. Let's show me more of kind of the cool things that are there.
Yeah, I think it would look pretty cool in 4K though. And honestly, IMAX screen, I was into it because being in an underwater world where we've never been in this kind of movie before. Great, I'll go along for the ride.
Yeah. I also like how Atlanteans are impervious to bullets and swords because they're made that way to be like to hold up under the pressure of the ocean.
Right.
I like that.
Yes.
But apparently a column falling over in water can crush them.
What part was that?
That was at the beginning. The first time they were interrupted by an explosion to the left. Like the whole time in the movie, when they're having the council there, and then the submarine comes and starts shooting the pillars. Oh. And it lands on top of this guy, and he's like, oh! And I'm like, dude.
Well, actually,
it's a rock.
In the movie, anytime a column landed on someone, like even normal people, they just lifted it up and they walked away.
And they're walking away.
And I was kind of like, is this trying to be an 80s movie, like an 80s action
Everyone's
flick?
fine.
And I think it kind of was.
It kind of was.
Because anytime Jason Momoa came on screen, it was like you'd hear the, you know, and then I don't even know. It almost became the bunny hop. But you know, he'd come in and it would be this swagger of an 80s action hero. And he's
permission to come aboard.
Right, he is that size. But I will say this, and another benefit to the movie, you could tell, other than the fact of like the lasers and everything going back and forth, when there was hand-to-hand combat.
The lasers in the pointless war.
Yes, you could tell what was happening in the hand-to-hand combat scenes, and it was filmed
sometimes
really well.
There were actually,
when could you not?
There was the first couple battles that I was like, we're good here. This is good. That like final war was a mess.
Well, it was a mess, but it was honestly fun to watch.
No, and it was
because it was
and
different
fun.
from what the action we'd been seeing before then.
It's basically the faceless, mindless battles that we've seen in the Marvel movies that you have bagged on the entire time.
Except, here's the thing. It wasn't about who was fighting in that war.
It's Wakandan rhinos.
No, it was not.
It was Wakandan rhinos.
The crabs were Wakandan rhinos.
Exactly.
And here's the thing, which was clever about this movie. Bad CG is covered up really well by the water effects.
Okay, so what did you think about the water effects? Like the way they talk underwater in that weird... They have kind of they add a warbling effect to their voice.
It is exactly what needed to happen, because in Justice League, they kind of pull this underwater umbrella and they talk to each other. Mm-hmm. And if they had to do that every time there was a speaking scene, it would have fallen on its face.
And they can't really have them like blowing bubbles out as they talk either.
And because if they're Atlanteans or Atlantans, whatever they are, Georgians.
Yeah.
They're from Georgia.
From Georgia.
If that's the way they are and they can breathe underwater, why can't they speak? And so that's the way you just had to cover up this part of the story and bring us into that world.
Yeah, which was fine.
And
although I will admit, sometimes it was hard to tell what they were saying.
Well, yeah, because you get the distorted, like, yes.
Yeah, it's like an echoey thing. And I was like, I think I followed what they said, but not quite sure.
Right.
But that's my other question, Kent, is the rules were not clearly defined as
for their powers.
Yeah, because like Aquaman apparently is the only one that can quote unquote talk to fish.
Sure.
Mera can apparently make air bubbles and manipulate water.
Yes.
But they seem to be the only ones who can do so. And I was like, wait, can other Atlanteans do this? Are they surprised? Even breathing on air, some Atlanteans could do it. Others had to wear those masks.
Right.
I was trying to figure out what the rules were.
Well, I think that actually shifted as well. It was almost like they were jarred when it's like breathed air, or maybe they were a different race. Because remember, there were like 7 different races in this movie.
Yeah, but Scarface looked like he was...
but then he just ran away. So that was the thing. It wasn't really defined.
Put his head in a toilet too, remember?
Yeah, he did. Actually, I really like that scene, though. The whole Italian rooftop chase.
I was fine with it, but it went on a little long.
That was so James Wan from,
James Bond.
Yeah, James Wan. That was really James Wan to me, because he tried to keep it as single shot as he could with a lot of effects happening. So you could tell when there were cuts. Mm-hmm. But to me, like pulling back and forth between Mera and Aquaman was really cool.
Yeah.
Like for me, I appreciated that.
I like the Valerian and 1,000 Planets reference as he's breaking through walls.
But done better, probably.
Well, probably. That was a cool scene in Valerian. What is it?
Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets. Yes.
That running through the different lands was kind of cool. And they were kind of doing that with him just running through walls.
Yes.
The whole time, though, I kept thinking to myself, dude, they're destroying these people's village in Sicily.
Well, yeah, come on.
But honestly, it was kind of like...
That's the thing, it's beautiful and there's destruction. So it's kind of artful in a way.
Yeah. Also, where were the security guards when they were climbing up all over that statue? When they were looking through the statue's eyes and put the bottle, I was like,
that's vandalism for sure.
I'm like, what are you doing?
I love that you're worried about the vandalism, even though there's
as
lasers.
a former security officer.
And so here's the thing. They introduced Black Manta, which is one of the biggest rivals to Aquaman.
Who is mortal, right?
Yes, he is mortal.
Then how on earth did he survive most of what he went through?
It's insane.
And why on earth did he get a Depeche Mode montage?
Yeah, that I don't understand. And also the Pitbull montage, who knows?
Oh, yeah.
But here's the thing. I've always thought in the comics Black Manta was kind of lame, but I liked him, even though he was mortal and he survived a lot. I thought I liked his character and I want to see more from it. And honestly, my summation of this movie is they went to like prehistoric beasts in this movie.
Right.
They went to kaiju in this movie.
Yeah.
What are they going to have in the sequel?
They went pretty big. They swung for the fences.
Yes.
But jumping back to the villain, though.
Yes.
Black Manta.
Yes.
At the very beginning, did you not think that was the most clumsy exposition of all when his dad gave him the knife?
Yes.
Like they're doing this raid on a submarine.
Middle of a raid,
and people are dying left and right. And then they're about to go get the last couple soldiers who've locked themselves in a thing,
right,
in a door behind a room, or a room behind a door. And then the dad suddenly pulls out like an ancient knife, and he's like, "I want to give this to you.
My father gave this to me."
And he proceeds to give him like a 2 to 3 minute exposition as to where this knife came from and why he's giving it to him.
Almost saying, "I'm going to retire tomorrow."
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was like,
but even when he dies, He could have given him the knife at that point.
No, that's the other thing too. Yeah, it would have been good there. Also, so he gets crushed. His legs get crushed by something. That
he doesn't get up.
Yeah, but he's laying there, and then he holds up a grenade, and the guy is like, I'm botching the way to explain this.
Sure.
They're in the submarine. Not Thor. What's his name? Aquaman knocks something over. It lands on the bad dad's legs.
Bad dad.
So bad son is saying, "No, bad dad, I won't leave you." And the bad dad's like, "You better leave me." And then he holds up a grenade because he's going to drown. There's water coming in the submarine. It's sinking. And then I thought, swipe it out of his hand. Like he hadn't pulled the pin yet. He just holds it up. The son could have just knocked it out of his hand and then been like, "No, I'm going to save you."
Yeah.
But instead it was just dramatic.
Well, he's dead regardless.
He is.
They wanted to rush the whole thing.
It just, that whole opening scene of like introducing that character was so clumsy.
I'm so glad they didn't spend more time on it though, because the movie's not about him.
No.
I think there'll be more time for him to develop.
That was the problem though. They spent way too much time giving the villain's backstory and focusing on him than they should have.
Well, it was a side villain. It was like kind of like it's a lackey to the main villain, which was Ocean Master.
Yeah.
Which I'm a Patrick Wilson fan.
Well, yeah, Patrick Wilson's great.
So for me, like I really liked his motivation, because it's not like a villain should actually care for what they're doing.
Killmonger.
Killmonger. They shouldn't actually just be like, I want to destroy the world. There should be a reason they want to destroy the world.
Right.
They shouldn't think that it's a good thing. And he wants to destroy everyone on the surface to save the ocean.
That's the other thing. I brought it up a little bit before, but did you notice how many times people are having a conversation and then an explosion would happen like to their left?
No.
Like, it happens so often where it was like Patrick Wilson is talking to Dolph Lundgren.
Yes.
And then they're sitting there talking and then an explosion happens.
Or the near kiss.
Well, and then an explosion happens.
Not with Dolph Lundgren and
then
Patrick
they're
Wilson.
in Sicily, and then they're talking, and an explosion happens to the side of them. Like they kept trying to. I honestly think they were just trying to startle the audience from being awake.
I think it's a jump scare in an action movie.
It is, but they relied on that so heavily that I got tired of it. So I was like, oh my gosh, another time we're going to do that.
Sure,
stop that. Stop doing explosions to the left.
Explosions to the left.
That's what I'm calling it.
To the left. To the left. All your explosions in the back. To the left. All right. Anything else you want to say about this one?
I'm trying to think of anything else. Like I said, the music was out of place. I sound like I'm bashing on it.
Here's the thing. I thought when they were going into Atlantis, I think the synth vibe was actually correct. I think they did a really good job there, but then they try to go a little bit more epic, which is okay.
Yeah.
But the movie, it goes everywhere, so maybe it's good that the score changes. It was just not super memorable.
Right.
Yes. But I will say, everywhere it went, I got to see, because I love the trench in the Aquaman comics. Like, I think they're super cool. They were teased. I got to see great white sharks. I got to see war seahorses. And I'm so down with that.
Seahorses?
Honestly, everything I saw, I was like, this is kind of wish fulfillment. Like, I appreciate this. This is silly as all heck. But I'm glad I'm watching this on a big screen.
But watching the trailer and seeing that war where the two different colors are coming together in the big war, I thought Aquaman would be leaving one, the brother would be leaving the other.
I'm actually glad that wasn't the case.
Which I'm actually kind of glad it was too, but at the same time, it was a war that didn't matter because you knew that it was going to be stopped by Julie Andrews.
Who knew? Julie Andrews playing a kaiju.
It's a giant monster.
It's kind of epic though, right?
So they go into the quantum realm and they find Michelle Pfeiffer. And while they're there and they can't get out.
People are so confused.
Yeah, we're going like so many realms of nerd here. No, they go to the center of the earth, which is apparently this lost paradise. I just barely saw a Mystery Science Theater that was about people that end up going in this, I think it's a whirlpool.
Okay.
And they end up at the center of the earth, which is this dinosaur haven.
Oh, perfect.
And so when I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, it's the same
That's
plot.
where they are, yeah.
So they go there and they find, we're in spoiler territory already, but they find Nicole Kidman, who we knew wasn't dead the whole time, but we find her there and she's like, there's no way back except for the true king to be able to fight this giant monster. And then he goes in there and he talks to the giant monster, and the voice of the giant monster is Julie Andrews.
It's so crazy.
And it's a cool scene.
It is.
Kind of creepy, actually. Like, creepy for kids, and that's one of the reasons I like it. It's not too intense, but it's good enough. But then it's like, of course he's going to get out of this, and of course it's going to be fine.
Well, of course. He's just about to accept his true calling.
But he didn't even have to fight it. You know what I mean? Like, there was nothing there where it was like...
But should there be a fight? Should he tie the legs together or something? He's basically up against Cthulhu. Right. By the way, the sequel better have Cthulhu. I'm just saying that right now. Wouldn't that be incredible?
It probably would. Although they already did that in Hotel Transylvania 3.
Oh man! And wasn't he a DJ?
Yeah, he was.
no, he wasn't a DJ.
He responded to music.
Oh man!
Spoiler alerts for Hotel Transylvania 3.
But here's the thing: I am actually okay that there was a conversation. It was kind of this conversation of humility of like, I'm a nobody, but here's what I need to do.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, see if you can take it. Boom, takes it.
It was just also funny to me because they just went through this horrible ordeal where they had to battle these
Terrible. The trench.
Glove,
the sea
glove,
creatures.
kiss guys.
Way worse than that.
Yeah,
I'm pretty
Ape-Sapiens.
sure.
They're battling Ape-Sapiens.
That would be pretty terrifying.
They dive off the boat. They swim down forever.
Yes.
They go into this lightning bolt that transfers them to this other realm. And I'm like, can you not give Aquaman 5-minute breather before sending him in this other thing? Like,
I know.
It was like he gets there and they're like, well, this is what we got to do. And he's like, okay.
Joel, if anything, this was similar to the plot of Echo the Dolphin. Where they all get sucked into this time vortex.
Where are they? But overall, like, I sound like I'm bashing on it. And
You really do, honestly.
it's 3 stars. I liked it. It's fine. But I probably will watch it with my kids, but that's probably it.
Okay. Because like, I won't own this one. This is honestly...
But you were bugged at Marvel. You were bugged at Justice League for going a little bit Marvel.
And honestly...
But you're okay with this one going full Marvel.
Here's the thing. This one was more James Wan. Honestly, maybe more Fast 5 than a Marvel movie. Because it was silly and it knew what it was. Justice League was 2 different movies. And you could tell 2 different, very distinct directors had control of it.
You could fill the different pieces in there. This was one
and it was silly.
piece.
Look, honestly, here's my problem with Justice League. I could go on for hours, but it's the Flash falling into Wonder Woman's cleavage. It's all these shots on their butts and stuff. It's honestly kind of the perverted stuff that didn't, or Lois Lane being thirsty, that were the bad jokes, that were Marvel jokes for me. This one was just like, we're going to throw a lot of jokes at the wall, and they're not. We're going to try not to distract you. We're going to try to help the pacing.
So you don't think... I keep wanting to call him Thor. It's
Jason
the weirdest
Momoa,
thing. That
Arthur Curry,
you don't think
Aquaman.
Aquaman was thirsty for Mera?
Oh, totally thirsty. For sure.
I hate that I use that term. Why did you make me use that term?
Well, that's the thing. At least they didn't say, I'm so thirsty.
It's Aquaman.
But it was kind of sweet. At the end, he gives her a little kiss on the head because he's like, hey, I want to be king. He gives her a kiss on the head.
Another big kiss in the middle of a battle.
Actually, that was kind of awesome.
It was kind of awesome, but I had to do the whole... Oh man, they're kissing in the middle of the battle.
The movie.
I would give the movie 500 million points if when they were doing that, all of a sudden they got impaled by a harpoon.
You said that a few times. Like if it ended there, that would be great. But here's the thing: this movie
I said that
gets to a point where it makes no apologies. Okay,
right.
And I think that's okay, especially in the end shot where when Aquaman flies out of the water and stops, and then you get the poster shot basically.
I'm Aquaman,
and you're like, yep, this movie knows exactly what it is. And so for that reason...
So do Marvel movies.
They fall apart. They are exactly the same format. This one wasn't...
This one.
You can say that, but this one is something unlike I've ever seen. And it is nothing like Black Panther because...
you can't say that. That's nothing like you've ever seen. The story was basically cookie cutter.
Well, the story is cookie cutter. It's Shakespearean. But as far as underwater battles go, and actually...
You didn't see Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, did you?
Yeah, with the merman.
Yeah.
There was like a 5-second battle underwater.
Yeah, it was exactly like this.
It was... In murky water?
Yes.
No, not at all.
The water was really clear in the ocean. Who knew?
Yeah. Well, you can see better when you're Atlantean.
I actually liked that explanation because I've always thought like the ocean floor is so dark, and it's like no, you see in the dark. So
I will say this, like I said, I'm not. There's not overwhelming love. I wouldn't even say, look, this is not as good as.
Are you saying it's better than Justice League?
Yes.
Better than Wonder Woman?
Heavens, no.
Okay.
No.
I wonder where you stand here.
Oh yeah, I could give you my order right now. Oh, come on.
Give me the order.
From worst to best.
Worst to best.
Suicide Squad.
Okay.
Justice League. Aquaman. Wonder Woman. Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition. Justice League Snyder Cut.
Oh, this is not even out yet.
And Man of Steel.
You haven't seen it yet. You biased jerk.
But no, this is fourth. I think Wonder Woman did things way better, and it brought me more, into her character. I didn't care for Aquaman's character, but I cared for the world that he was in.
But is watching Jason Momoa for women like watching Gal Gadot for men?
Yes, I think so. Okay. Honestly, yes.
Yeah.
He has a shirt off so much in this movie.
Well, of course.
You're welcome, ladies.
Although Levi's. Who wears Levi's in the water?
I know.
It's like the worst possible
They are
thing to
the
wear.
worst.
It's terrible.
That's what we're worried about?
Yes.
Defacing statues and Levi's underwater.
Yes, I'm concerned about both of those. And that poor woman who had the people. Black Manta is so dead. Like when he falls off that cliff, they showed him crash so many times.
His neck gets broken 19 times.
And and then he's like, I hurt my eye.
But here's the thing, Atlantean technology.
Yada, yada, yada. Atlantean technology. This gun works on water. That's great. But I enjoyed it. I need to say that again. I thought it was fun. Sure. Yeah. So there you go. There's our review.
Okay, should we try to find Jake now?
We probably should now. So let's...
Jake!
Let's turn off this recording and get time to Jake.
Jake!
appreciate it.
Jake.